What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Midas Flopper and whether or not this is worth going for in Chapter 7 Season 2, because I've seen a lot of players talking about this and seemingly somewhat upset that they haven't gotten it yet. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, comment down below if you've been able to catch a Midas Flopper, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything. It is Evolved Jake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath your webcam at all times. So if you guys do not know what a Midas Flopper is, this is a fish that can be caught. I believe it has a 1% chance to be caught while fishing. And what it does is it turns all of the weapons in your inventory when you use it to gold rarity. And then it also gives you a legendary Scar assault rifle in the slot that the fish was in when you used it. So this is pretty sought after because it has a really low spawn rate. And I feel like just in general, things that are rare, you know, there's some degree of novelty to it because it is rare and special. But outside of that novelty, I don't think it's really that great or something that you really need to concern yourself with. If you want to go for it just to get it, or, you know, because of that specialness, then sure. But it's not something that you need to get or something that gives you a huge advantage in terms of winning the game. So if you are like overly fixated on trying to get it, I think your effort is better put elsewhere. And that's why I kind of talked about people being like upset that they haven't been able to get it yet. It's not that big of a deal. Making all of your weapons legendary is, you know, it's nice and all, but this is probably the easiest season ever to get high rarity weapons. There's the blue POIs that have a high spawn rate of rare chests. There's many objectives around the map that give high rarity loot, like the shooting game in Wonky Land, the wait at Ripped Tides, the car jump in the desert. There's the vaults that were added at New Sanctuary and Frigid Fortress. There's the vending machines around the map that sell high rarity weapons. And then there's also the rivalry stations themselves. And there's the gold fishing spots that also give you high rarity weapons. So in general, I think Chapter 7 has been really easy to get high rarity loot, but this season just took it to another level. And the weapon upgrade at the rivalry stations is incredibly cheap at only 10 rivalry coins per level upgrade. And sure, going from gray rarity to gold would cost a lot of your coins, but usually you aren't starting at gray rarity if you've looted an area. So if you've looted your POI, it's not uncommon to come away with like blue weapons or better, which would then only take 1 or 2 upgrades to get gold. So I land Ripped Tides a lot. I usually get the weight there, and so I get some high rarity weapon. It may or may not be something that I want to use, but there's also plenty of cash registers and vending machines here, so I'm typically able to purchase either a spray weapon or a shotgun from the vending machines that I want to use. There's also nearby vending machines at the gas station. And just from looting, like I said, I often get a blue or better shotgun. So there's a lot of times where I have a blue shotgun from looting, I upgrade it twice, and then now I'm at gold. And it only took 2 rivalry or 20 rivalry coins, which is not a big deal. That's 2 rivalries. It can very easily be done in a single match, and then you get back to where you were. The rivalry coins have a cap of 600, and if you've done enough rivalries to get to that cap, you probably won't run out at this point. I feel like once you get to the cap, you can play pretty much like it doesn't exist, and you're not going to have a hard time running out of coins if you do rivalries consistently. But even if you aren't someone who actively goes for these rivalries all the time and tries to get as many kills as you can in a game, other players are probably getting them on you throughout the course of the game. And so that's a fight that's probably going to happen. Even if I didn't get the rivalries, enough players get them on me throughout the course of the game that I'm usually able to get back several, you know, rivalry coins in a single match. So I really don't think the legendary rarity is that alluring this season because it's very easy to get from other areas. In the clip where I got the Midas Flopper today, I already had all gold weapons by then, and then I ended up using the Scar to get gameplay for the video. In team game modes, I could see a world where it's maybe a bit more valuable because you could have like everybody on your team drop you their shotgun, pick it all up, use the flopper. Now everybody has a gold shotgun. Or if you're landing somewhere that happens to have fishing spots, then sure, go ahead and hit the gold ones up, see if you can get the Midas Flopper. If not, you'll get some high rarity weapons in the meantime. But it's not like spending all game fishing trying to get this gives you that much of an advantage. And that's why I'm saying don't stress it unless you just want the specialness of it. If you just want to get it one time to say that you've done it, sure. But if you're concerned about this like improving your odds of winning, I don't think it's that great, and you'd probably have an easier time getting gold weapons from other means. The Scar is actually going to be the main reason to want to go for this, I think. If you just really want to use that for whatever reason, then that's valid. I don't think it's the best spray weapon this season, but it's certainly good. If you guys don't remember, last season they did end up buffing the regular ARs and the Scar was included in that. So it now has a lot less bloom than it did in the past, and the headshot multiplier is higher again, and those headshots are where this thing is actually going to shine. I've had fights versus the Scar this season where I go down incredibly quick and I don't even have a chance to respond at all because the enemy just happened to hit all headshots on me. And in fights where you're able to hit headshots with this Scar, you melt enemies incredibly fast. The jumping accuracy isn't the greatest, and I've talked in several videos about how important I think jumping accuracy is this season because of the gloves and because of the other forms of mobility. And it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst either. It's serviceable. I think if it hadn't gotten the buff it got last season, it would definitely be worthless. But I think even the jumping accuracy is okay enough. It's not as good as the pistol. It's not as good as the Thunderburst SMG, but it's fine. So if you enjoy using the Scar for whatever reason, I don't think it's the greatest weapon this season, but it's certainly good. And there's situations where, you know, if you hit headshots with it, there's probably nothing else in the meta that will really compete. The exotic OXR could probably be compared to this, and you could argue the exotic OXR is better and much easier to get because you only have to spend 80 rivalry coins on it. But there's a give and take there. Obviously, you will run out of coins much faster there. And I noticed the jumping accuracy or the spray penalty more when using the OXR than I did using the Scar. Most of the time using the Scar, I could just full spray it without much concern or care at all for the bloom. And with the improvements it got last season, it's accurate enough to where most of the time that was good enough for me. So I feel like the Scar was easier to use than the exotic OXR. If for some reason I had to use one of them, I probably would use the Scar. But it's not like this is the most overpowered item this season. It's definitely good, and you can definitely get wins with it. You can get eliminations with it. But again, I don't think it's so overpowered that it's like you need to go for this to get that Scar, to get, you know, or to get the Midas Flopper to get that Scar. So the Midas Flopper is fine, but if you've been stressing about getting it, I really don't think it's worth going for or worth stressing about that much because legendary weapons are very easily attainable this season, probably more now than ever. And the Scar is good, solid, probably like 8 out of 10. Not a bad weapon by any means, but also not so busted that you need to get this every game in order to win. It's good, but there's also a lot of other good items this season. And this season in general, with the spray weapons we have, the Thunderburst SMG, the pistol, the Nemesis AR, the Combat AR, the exotic OXR, all of these weapons kill incredibly fast. And in a season like this, where the time to kill is really quick, the differences between weapons, I feel like mostly come down to preference. If everything was killing really slow and then the Scar headshots like nuked you, then sure, that would be a reason to go for it. But pretty much regardless of which spray weapon you use, as long as it's one you enjoy using, you're probably going to be doing good this season. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like. Subscribe if you like some more. Let me know down in the comments below if you've been able to catch the Midas Flopper this season, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.